snacks.
What it do, Snackers, Snackettes, and Snack X's? It's your boy Gage. Sin is in the building.
Yes, sir.
Jokes is coming.
Possibly.
You are now tuned in to Lotus Weekly the week, and we talk about things that are happening in pop culture. And today we're gonna have a discussion. We're gonna talk about superhero movie fatigue. But we have other stuff to talk about. We gotta talk about some RockStar stuff. We gotta talk about some Barbie stuff. Like we do have other things to discuss. So we're gonna do just that. But first, Sin has to hook y'all up because Jokes is not here.
That's true.
So he will get our Beacons link up for anyone who is in the chat. What up? How goes it, Andrew? Good to see you right at the tippy top of the show.
Tippy.
Right? Oh, my people.
Hey.
Sing it, Daddy. Hit the Beacons link. Go to our Beacons, and it's just easy to find us across everything else there. We don't yet have a Threads page. Doctor Who, what up?
What up, Doc?
And I'm sure we can figure it out. K Dizzle, what it do? However, K Dizzle, I need to talk to you. I do. So after the show, I need to talk. Sin's laughing because he probably knows what that's about.
Yeah.
I need to talk to you. Yeah. Hit the Beacons link. Easiest way to follow us across the board. No, we don't have a Threads yet because I don't know. Like it should be easy and it's not, and that made me upset. And so I was just like, whatever. I don't really care. You know, I can't do the X thing, but so much. I do use it to get some news because it is helpful. It's fast. You know what I mean? But other than that, man, I just can't do the X thing. I can't deal with it. So yeah. Haven't gotten that far.
What up, Zay?
You have a job to do.
I do. So let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis Mbe. Thank you very, very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
We absolutely do. That is absolutely a fact. Thank
What up,
you
Heather?
for your patronage. Heather, what's up? Zaina, I saw you. What's up? Sin, do you happen to know if the question of the month for last month got posted yet?
I'll tell you in a quick second.
Okay. So we did not have anybody actually make a suggestion or whatever for a question of the month for us to answer for last month. So we did do one. And I think it's an interesting question about vacationing, tripping, and so forth. So just thought I'd throw that out there. Also, there's a snacking and hanging that was done for those of you in Patreon, so you can check that out.
It's not up yet. It's not up yet. But we have topics for August. So
okay, that's good.
Yeah, I'll take that.
There was a snack bite from Otakon, actually two that were uploaded to Patreon. One of those is now live for everyone else. The other one will go live within the next couple of days for everyone else. But again, if you're in Patreon, you can see it now. If you are wondering how we reacted to ketchup flavored Doritos or
what?
When I had a cough out. Wow. Hey, listen. Mike coming. Oh, shucks. You gotta go. Now you gotta put the hat on.
Come on, I mean, just lane work, baby. It's lane work.
You gotta put the hat on. All right, listen. Now look, here we go. My man is stripping.
Now put it on the back of the neck. I got big ass head. I gotta do it like this.
Yeah, you also can't do that and wear the headphones.
Nah, it don't work like that. Nah.
Yeah, at the same time. So, you know.
Yeah, that's some serious issues, bro. This ain't gonna work.
Nah, that's not gonna work. I have no idea what you think you're doing back there.
I was gonna try, but yeah. I was end up breaking the hat. We ain't about to do that. Not today.
It's not working at all.
Not today.
So yes, we have also posted our thoughts on hot mustard.
All kind of
flavored Doritos. Yeah, look. Look what you did. Look what you did, Mike.
I know. See,
Slade. What is? Look at him. Look at him.
The hat is gonna sit here. The hat is just gonna sit here now.
Okay. I mean, you know. Look. See what? I'm just watching. I'm enjoying the show with the rest of y'all. I can't wait to see what the chat is like. He's gonna be in charge of putting that up for everyone to see momentarily. But look at the struggle. Why you struggle with that, sir?
Yeah.
And I enjoy myself because of it. Let's talk Rockstar and role playing for a moment. So RockStar Games, the makers of GTA, acquired Cfx.re, which is the company. Hello, mother. Look, it's kind of I guess it's not hard to explain. If you're not familiar with Grand Theft Auto Online and the role-playing community that exists within Grand Theft Auto Online, as well as Red Dead Redemption, these folks have straight up carved out. He's straight up broke him. You broke him. He don't know how he did it. That's why he got
no, it was too many things going on up here at the same time.
He has no idea. He got so excited about the prospect of wearing the hat lost all control of the rest of his functions.
But they had us here, so.
Yeah, so Cfx.re are the group that are responsible for creating this world that literally people are like living in. And so like within these servers that they have and mods that they have specifically, you like literally take on a role and that's your job. Like if you are a police officer, that's what you do within this community.
And they be real. Like all the additions they add onto it, it be ridiculous. They can look you up on the computer in the car, see your job, like all that stuff.
It's so insane. Serious. So much so that like over the years, RockStar has actually helped them and allowed certain mods just for them to be able to do what they do. There are like crews in Red Dead Redemption that just go on posse rides. Like they literally get in, meet up, and they ride from one side of the map to the other slow, bruh. Like whistle, and they're not allowed to talk. RockStar makes that medieval RPG we talking about. I'm gonna need to start collecting unemployment because I say leave me this chair. Hey, listen, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Between that and Red Dead,
but like I do think the fact that they have brought this team now in-house and made them a part of RockStar. One, it's a big deal. Two, it leaves me with a lot of questions, starting with Sin. How do you think this affects, if at all in any way, Grand Theft Auto Online on console moving forward?
I think they're going to find a way to add in that role-playing element to the consoles. And going forward, I do. I don't know if it was... I don't know if I can say I don't know if we'll see it with 5. I don't want to say that because 5's been going on for years, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. They make so much money off of it through the shop cards. It's just ridiculous. But I can see, especially with 6 coming further down the line, them adding that RPG element into it. I can see it happen. I can see it happening with 5. They constantly roll out updates and things to do each week and stuff like that. They stay constantly on top of that. I can see an RPG element coming. I can. I don't know how it would work with the console version versus the PC version, because the PC version you can add and all that type of stuff. Now, if they go the Bethesda route and add, you can start adding mods in like they did with Skyrim and that type of stuff. Now we're cooking with the whole RPG element on consoles if they go that route. But I mean, that's what I got right now. That's what I can say. Ooh, okay.
Is it? How do you think this will affect? That one was already posted up. How do you think it'll affect GTA 6? Man, listen. Let me tell you something. Andrew.
Hey, dog, the hours we spent stealing radios out of cars.
I'm gonna tell you something. I know Grand Theft Auto is Grand Theft Auto, but Warriors is Rockstar's best game, period. It's their, like, that joint. I would love to play 5 and pull people over. Hey, look, let me tell you something. Hey, class be running. Like, if you just go online and look on YouTube at Grand Theft Auto Rope, like, there are people whose job is like they're radio DJs, they're musicians.
It's this
they
dude
work in a coffee house. Like,
I always see he's like an actual retired police officer, and he does that in the game. And like he just be like, oh hey dude, just getting it right around pulling people over.
It's a little out of control, man. I would have to see where they look in terms of paid servers. Rockstar's doing some really weird stuff right now, man. It's cool to see them bring these folks in-house. It's interesting to me what it might mean for Grand Theft Auto 6 and what that is, but it also makes me wonder, because I guess I have to wonder whether or not, well, I mean, I guess let me just ask, do you think, is Grand Theft Auto 6 going to release with a new Grand Theft Auto Online package?
Nope. No.
So GTA 6 standalone single player game.
Yeah. I mean, there'll be.
I mean, maybe they can have co-op or something.
Yeah, something like, but like what we have now at 5 won't be there at launch for 6. It'll come, but it won't be there at launch at 6.
So that's interesting though, because I do feel like there are people who are going to expect that because they've been at it for so long, doing what they're doing with 5, and I almost don't even want to call it GTA 5 anymore, because you can technically just purchase GTA Online. Mm-hmm. Even though it's the elements of 5 and whatever, the fact that they separated it technically from 5 made me feel like they were just going to continue to iterate on it and maybe add new elements in and do an update like they have done for it. Could they add Liberty City? Yes. I would love to see it.
Maybe with 6, when they do the online version of it, you know what I'm saying, we get the new city that's going to be in. We all know where it's going to be in the fake Florida.
Vice City.
Vice City. That's going to think of it. But since they've been doing Los Santos all the time, maybe down the line, that's the next DLC, that next big map type thing they add. And then after that, it will go back to Liberty City, like for the next big one or something like that, depending on the scale and how much they're trying to do with it.
Yeah, and I remember years ago there was talk of them doing that, right? Like of adding Liberty City and you being able to go to the airport and fly there. Like it's not going to be interconnected. Like you can't drive there, but like, you know, you could fly there. And I do believe that to some extent what they did when they released Cayo Perico, which was technically its own map, separate from the main map. You had to go and you had to fly there in order to participate in the stuff that's there, was kind of a test bed for that. And so it does make me wonder whether or not the plan is to try to keep GTA Online continuing to go, making the money it's making, and really never let go of that in that community. But then if you own 6 or if you have access to 6 online, you then can do something like that, like go to the airport and fly.
Or do they treat it like a major overhaul that not only it adds in like the fidelity and the upgrades and all that kind of stuff, just a massive overhaul, and it adds the new city, but all this other stuff that we have till now is still there. But you can go to the new city now and start building.
You don't want to lose any of that.
Yeah, that's still there, but you're going to start building that. That's a way to go as well. But of course, everything over there is going to be stupid expensive.
I mean, again, it's hard. Look, with them announcing Red Dead Redemption, like the first Red Dead, being ported to PlayStation 4 and Switch, and charging a full $50 for this is like really weird. And people are like all kinds of up in arms about it because they feel like, oh, that game is so old. Why are you charging $50 for this? It's just a port. Like, you're not doing anything new. You're not giving us anything more. And when for the, backwards compatibility on Xbox, everything they're saying that it's going to do, they're charging you for, is already there in the Xbox version of it, because you can just use backwards compatibility to play the 360 game, and it up-reses to 4K, and it runs at 60 frames, and you have your Undead Nightmare, and they're charging you $50. You could go in the Xbox store right now and buy it for $30.
No, Andrew. No.
Andrew says, do you think they'd ever go to different places like GTA version of Philly or Baltimore? There's a stretch, but Delaware.
They already have. They have a San Francisco with San Fierro. They have Vegas with Las Venturas already within that world. They have one in England that they haven't tapped into yet. That was still the top-down version of it from forever ago. They have that. I don't see them going to a new city. They would just tap into one of the ones that's already within the lore that they've used before and just build upon that. That's what I think.
I can see it. Can I see it happening? Yes, I can certainly see it happening. But I think that if they take the time to flesh out like Liberty City, there's a possibility you see them do elements of Jersey, and because of that,
all right, I can see that because they're practically like so I can see Jersey
on top of each other. I could see it happening possibly in the same way that they did Los Venturas with Vegas, because
Yeah.
when they
I would love to see
you know
those come back. Just the hill, like driving around the hills of San Fierro because of San Francisco, and then going out
yeah.
to the Strip in Vegas. All the Los Venturas. Like it'd be cool to go back and revisit those. But
I mean, look, they went real hard with the casino in this, and if they decided to do Vegas, bro,
ooh, that'd be my favorite joint. I love Vegas, bro. I love it.
I know. I look, they could really do almost anything. I think right now, I do think they're trying to concentrate on the story stuff for GTA 6 and
The
trying to
world
figure out
building,
exactly
the
where the
story.
satire fit.
Yeah, yeah. Just build the world. Then we can focus on all the online and like they've been doing. You know what I mean? Let's get that. We know what DLC we're gonna do. Like we're gonna go back to the Lost and do a little chapter for them and stuff like that. Like the nightclub thing, and
That was like my favorite thing about 4
the Lost.
was that they had the add-ons.
Yeah.
Well, Battle of Gay Tony and Lost in the Dam were just like
That was the other one.
Serious proof of concept that they could take the exact same city and do a different story and do story DLC, which is the thing they said they were going to do for 5 but never did.
I think
but told from a different perspective, because things are happening in like Ballad of Gay Tony and Lost in the Dam that not only cross each other's paths but cross the path of the story that you were doing in GTA 4. So there was a really dope kind of story, a storytelling element that was there that they just kind of never touched on again.
And what's dope
and I don't know if that's because maybe they didn't see as much success with that as they could have, but it felt really smart to me because they were just reusing the same assets that were already there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, one thing that's great about Rockstar when they build their cities, they're so like, whether you're driving or you're just walking around the streets, you find something new, hear a new conversation. Like walking around and running from the cops is different from like driving away from them. Like it all still feels kind of new, running through people's backyards and all that kind of stuff, and all the little crazy stuff you see and find. Like their world building is absolutely amazing. So when you're playing Baldur's Gate Tony and the Lost joint, like they feel like new stories and new parts of the city you barely even scratched or been through yet. So they're refreshing when they come out.
I mean, it's the same thing with GTA Online, right? Like we've been playing it for 10 years, right? It came out in 2013, and so
I saw a house yesterday. Like, I want to do a mission there.
Yeah, like it just, there's stuff that pops up, and again, they just keep adding new stuff, and it's like these are areas of the map that they were already there. They just weren't being utilized, so they kind of build in stuff into the server so you can go in and do it. So like, again, they have a brilliant platform for doing it and for making it happen. We just have to see what they do. I think this is a really dope move for them. I think it's cool that they finally decided to bring these folks in. Let's pay them. You know what I mean? Like, let's really pay them for what they're doing in the community that they've built, because clearly they have something going that Rockstar didn't have and didn't really plan on. And so for as long as they've been doing it, I just think it's really cool to see that happen. Curveball.
Curveball.
Sin, what? Hey, listen.
Hey, I can listen to that JB Smooth radio show all day. Listen.
Chakra Attack, JB Smooth on the radio station, bruh. Grand Theft Auto is one of the greatest things that's ever done. And I listen, if you don't have the game, haven't played the game, I highly recommend just go on YouTube and just listen to the radio show. Yeah. Just type in JB Smooth
Chakra Attack.
Chakra Attack.
That's it. To the 10 years later, hilarious. Dog, to the day, I die laughing every time I catch it on the radio in Grand Theft Auto. It is so funny.
So stupid. It's so stupid. Sam.
Yeah, okay. So.
What is happening to RPGs? It's like we're talking about Rockstar and this whole role-playing element that exists within GTA that wasn't initially a part of it. And I have voiced my complaints about like Final Fantasy 16. And like it not feeling like a real numbered Final Fantasy to me. Like I feel like it should be considered an offshoot. It should not be Final Fantasy 16. It should be Final Fantasy, the Idols of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like it starting to feel to me like I don't know, started feeling like RPGs were like watered down, which before I get into that and why I think that might be the case, then right on the crux of Final Fantasy coming out. And literally, like, it's weird to me because people are like, this is the greatest Final Fantasy ever made. And I'm like, there's not even close. Not even close. Because it's missing what to me makes something quintessential Final Fantasy. However, Baldur's Gate 3 comes out and is the most RPG there has ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And the world is going insane. Like it's the most incredible thing. And people are literally like, yo, I thought Tears of the Kingdom, there was nothing that was going to be better than that. Here comes Baldur's Gate 3 out of nowhere. Everybody wants to have it. Everybody wants to put their hands in it. And it seems like, all right, RPGs are, there's like an actual hunger or thirst for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that seems like it's been missing for so long. It doesn't mean that there haven't been RPGs at all.
Right.
But the popularity of Baldur's Gate is really weird. Hey, Dom. RPGs are turning into the gaming version of mumble rap. I get that. Dice rolls and that, like real talk, right? So I kind of get that. Sin, are you feeling like, where are you? Like you're a JRPG guy, like I am.
Facts.
We like the idea of CRPGs, though we don't super get into. We always like, yo, we about to play the I don't know what out of the
but it's those take a little more work, and that's the only trick to it. It takes a little bit more work, like to get in, get the understanding how it works. So that's just with time, it's just all right, it's just easier to jump in this and this and that. Not that they're not phenomenal. I think what it is now, especially with Baldur's Gate, I think what BioWare started with kind of like, I'm not going to say started, but like made popular with making decisions with like Mass Effect and stuff like that. Like actually be able to kind of like choose your own adventure. I think at least over here in the West, that's what we crave for more when it comes to RPGs, the ability to make choices and decisions on our cast, our characters, and how the story kind of unfolds. And Baldur's Gate gives us true like tabletop RPG in a video game fashion, and
that's close you can get to it,
and literally like whatever you want to do in this game, like call it out, make the decision, you do it, like, and it's written that way. So however I've heard so many different stories of how people have gone through. Yeah, we just went through, killed everybody. Nah, I went through. I read his diary, found out about his mother, so I turned to his mother. He thought it was a dream when he woke up, and I talked to her, and I talked to him. He got sad or whatever, and kind of gave up, like doing all this type of like so many. There's unlimited possibilities to how to go about every single action, and I think that's just what people want to give us the setting, but let us craft our own story to an extent.
I guess the question is, and look, and again, y'all know in the chat, feel free to chime in. Like, what makes an RPG an RPG? Like, what elements? Like, for me, what up, Jokes? Welcome to the show.
Hey, buddy.
Test your mic. Can we hear you?
What's up?
There you go. There you go.
What makes an RPG an RPG? So, here's my. I think what's happened is, and let me just say clearly, I feel like partially at fault for this because Dom says I hear you, I get your points. However, I like real-time reactions. What I like Baldur's Gate. Yes. because it's real time. Like it's not, it's real time. Like you're like the decisions you make, the things you can do are. I would highly suggest like YouTubing a portion of playthrough.
Or watch the joint they were doing with the devs. Or say watch the series they put out with like the devs talking about like the different aspects of the game and all that kind of stuff. Like go back and watch that series they put out. It'll really give you a good insight into how the game works.
I like JRPGs. I like Western RPGs, but I like feeling like if I'm doing that, I'm actually helping to carve out the direction of the story and what my character would do. So in a sense, if I'm not mistaken, and I may be, it may be different D&D video game, but there's like over 200 hours of different cutscenes, which is crazy. Yeah, like Baldur's Gate is like
it has so many different endings and so many different cutscenes.
We are definitely playing Baldur's Gate 3 for extra life. Let me say it again. 4-player co-op online Baldur's Gate 3 is happening for extra life this year.
And we can make our own decisions will affect the same game that we're playing. So somebody can make the wrong decision and
go different directions.
Yep, and screw it up for everybody. Like it's gonna be crazy.
Here's the thing. It's almost perfect to be able to do that with Jokes, because Jokes likes to just go do what he want to do anyway.
We'll be in the middle of something, and we have a bounty put in our head. Like I didn't do nothing.
And so here's my thing.
I just stepped on that piece of grass. I didn't mean to do that.
Lying. So like RPG, I'm air quoting elements, began to like seep their way into like every game we play. Mm-hmm. So like an action game all of a sudden has a skill tree, and you earn points as you go up in levels or as you progress through. And so you had those like elements of feeling like you're getting stronger, more powerful, and you have some choice in like how you build your character. So if you take what's those Gearbox joint? Borderlands, right? Mm-hmm. Borderlands is straight up FPS, right? But you could have two people that choose the same character, but each character has like three different paths build they can go on in terms of what their build for the character is. So there's definitely RPG elements in it. But you're really still just following the same story, but you get to decide more about how you want to play. In a traditional, to me, JRPG Final Fantasy, once they hit, you can kind of always rename your people. Mm-hmm. But like being able to name your character used to be as far as you could go. Right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But then it was like, well, you can choose if you're a fighter, a mage, a ninja, a thief. And then it was, well, you start out as this, but you can learn the abilities and aspects of all these other classes and make your character this well-rounded, whatever. But you also had that same kind of control over the other members of your party. You might not have full control from a story standpoint, which I feel like is necessary because sometimes a character dies, and you need that. You need to play the role of like, oh, for real? Wait till I see Sephiroth, bro.
I knew that's what you was thinking about. And you killed my healer, bro. I'm gonna put hands on you when I see.
That's funny you say that. Listen, like. I have a post that like I must share it every year because it just pops back on my thing, and it's about when the healer gets killed, and it's Homelander. Like it's like how he does like that, and it's literally like, oh, the healer's dead.
Mm-hmm. Now what we gonna do? I mean, bear in mind that we put in like a lot of extra time, like leveling this character, and
that's what made it hurt. Because you put time and effort into that character.
Kill Slim.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what made that hurt so bad. Because we knew in our heart, like, nah, she ain't going nowhere. We all
she done. She's dead.
They did the same thing in Final Fantasy 2, 4 Japanese, 2 US. They had a character who was a little girl. She was the summoner. and she like dies, like she's like gone. But then later on in the story, she comes back and she's like an adult, and she's raw, like she was like, let's go. And I'm like, oh, bet. So I just knew that's coming back. Like, they're not going to do that. Right?
Nope.
I needed that.
Oh, we got.
Andrew says, jokes. Want to get your opinion on new Delaware State University logo. Someone said it looks like Teen Titans Go Team made.
Oh, I heard the DSU did some changes. I didn't really look at it, but you know what? I'm going to
pull it up.
Go ahead and try to see if I can find it right quick.
It's weird to me. I remember going back to save to get Max Summers. Yes, dog. Like she, like
that was one of the most hurtful things in game. And I'm sorry when Eric died.
Facts. It was for real. Aerith dying in Final Fantasy VII was like the video game equivalent of Optimus Prime dying in the animated movie. It was like, hold on, y'all can't. It can't be real. They're not gonna do that. He'll be back before the end of the movie.
Hey Andrew, I guess you're just talking about the just the standard DSU look. Like it's just regular blank font with the flags in the back. I mean, I don't see
like
nothing.
Teen Titans Go.
Not really. It's just regular. Let me see if it'll let me save this in. And like the new Hornets, like. Obviously, whenever I see it, the one that has the horn in it to me is the main one. But here, I'll throw it up right quick. I think it'll let me do this.
It's saying is the fact that tabletop D&D is on like a steady incline. Is that having an effect? Like, look, it just feels to me like maybe I feel like Square's been out of touch with what's going on in video games for a long time. Like they've just been kind of behind the 8 ball in terms of like, I feel like a lot of Japanese studios have been, but I feel like they've just been behind the 8 ball. And it's weird to me, the idea of them kind of chasing the very Platinum Games, Devil May Cry action aspect in a mainline Final Fantasy game versus sticking to their guns and being like, what we do is turn-based. You know, like maybe you don't want to do turn-based, but give me control over the other characters. Let me, you know what I'm saying? Like,
take the Tails like, approach. If we're gonna run around, let me be able to switch between all the characters on the field and use them and stuff like that. Yeah.
But maybe tabletop like D&D is not popular outside of Western culture, right? And so maybe they're just not seeing. Like it's weird that like Baldur's Gate is so good, is so well put together that literally devs are on Twitter saying Baldur's Gate is setting an unreal expectation for what video games are going to be. Do not expect this going forward. You guys have your hopes set too high. That's crazy.
That is ridiculous. And I think they're mad because one of the things they stand tall on with this game is the fact that there is no DLC. There is no there's no store to buy things out of. Like this is this is old school ass. This is the 100%
no microtransaction.
Full.
Here's the
package.
game.
Yep, 100% the game. Nothing else. Yep, in its full entirety. That. Yeah, they'll do probably updates and patches just to correct some little stuff here and there, but like this is it in its full capacity. Yeah, and a lot of people are actually championing that. They love it.
There's also like the fallout of Diablo 4 when they did the season update and the changes they made.
And they screwed up a bunch of stuff.
And being upset and people are like, and they're just like, well, nah, here's what it is, and this is all the stuff you can do, and it's already there, right? And there's no adding in something new or trying to nickel and dime you to make it last forever to do. That's just on my mind. Let's get back to the news. So speaking of RPGs, DC Universe Online, bro,
still going strong.
They just decided that's what we gonna do. They're about to do an update and put that joint on new consoles.
Oh, the
Check this
series.
out.
Okay.
DCUO is online, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. So DCUO is headed to the latest generation of consoles with PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X this holiday season. Along with the performance gains found playing natively on the latest and greatest hardware, the team is also working on gameplay and quality of life improvements to match. This initiative is a long-term endeavor that is already underway. You will see some of these improvements launch over the next few months prior to release on the new consoles, some of them at launch, and some of them following over the course of next year. Stay tuned for a future update with more information. Now, you may be wondering what it means for playing DCUO with your friends, and let us assure you right away that whether you choose to move to the latest console or stay on your current one, you will still be playing on the same servers with your same characters and friends, and with all of your purchases and achievements seamlessly intact. All you need to do is log in with the same PSN or Xbox account once you have downloaded the game on your new system.
Okay.
This game came out in 2011.
It almost even seems like it's long before, even before that almost.
I mean, they started talking about it and working on it in like 08, 09, but the game released, at least in 1.1, 1.0. Like there might have been beta before that, but at least in 1.0, like it's 2011 is when the game came out. That is a ridiculously long time.
I don't even know like where you would even start. Like I used to play the hell out of that jump.
And I dabbled in it for sure.
And it just got to the point where I just moved on to other things and kind of it just fizzled out. But it's like I feel like I gotta see if I can even figure out my login to at least
don't even try. don't even try, bro. Start a new one.
I'm gonna try it because even
everybody in the chat knows your password is Tatiana1.
Listen, I can't do that. That would be
it's Gundam 00. That's what it is. It's Gundam 00.
Yo, shut up, Sin. That password actually does exist out there.
No, it does. Yeah, man. Listen, I would consider it if it hit prior to Extra Life. I would consider it, and here's why. It's basically free to play now. Like there's like 10 years of content that is basically free now. You can just jump in and play it. Like they're getting ready to do like update 46, like, and it's like the Dark Titans or something. Like they get ready to do a whole new and literally like they're basically like, as long as DC's still making comic books, we have content. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
Listen, Todd. Everybody knows your password is
Mariah Carey.
I hate Mariah Carey a lot.com.
Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
So I just think it's dope, right? That like, look, so many games come out and try to do this like game as a service thing. Who is going to buy this developer? And what happens if they do?
They're gonna screw it up, whoever does it, unless they just do your thing. They do the Microsoft thing. Just do your thing. Just cook. Y'all approving your track record. We just put the Microsoft logo on it now.
It just seems like one of those things that's just flown under the radar because I feel like nobody talks about it. Nobody's really thinking about it. If you're not already into it, you don't know. But for this game, one, for them to have basically made everything free and you can just jump in and run means that there is still a subscription option, but it's just an option. But it means that they have to be making enough money.
1,000%
going.
That people 1,000%. Are just like, yeah, I'm down. So it's got to be making. See, there it is. They got that. All them bank statements.
No, it's definitely pulling money. And I'll be 100% down to run if it drops before then. Like it'll be. something different, fun to jump in, have a good time with. Create our own superheroes, fight some crime.
I mean, I did it. I played it on 360.
I did
for
too,
like
somewhere around there. Yeah.
2 days, and was like, nope. But but whatever. There's gonna be so much other stuff to play that I'm not even gonna like make that promise. But for Extra Life, if it's out before, then I'd be down. You know what I'm saying? 100%. Jokes, you all right, man? You look like you struggling a little bit. Are you trying to get that?
Oh yeah, I'm actually
show up or?
Oh no, I got the logo. I was actually logging into the DC online account because you know what? I remembered I was playing that on PlayStation, so I used my PlayStation login, so it should let me log in using that. But hold on, yeah, I got the logo here. I'm gonna pop that joint up right quick. I just waited until I didn't want that joint to just randomly show up. But this is
over there trying. Sometimes it shows up weird.
Yeah, so
that doesn't.
Yeah, the DSU joint is just regular font with like the flag. Like if you know on the campus, like that joint's right there for it. So I think that looks clean. The Delaware State with the Hornet on there, I think that joint looks clean. Like I don't think you don't need to overdo it. I think the joint looks
like
fine.
A team logo.
Yeah,
what it looks like to me.
I think the joint looks fine.
Yeah. Sin.
Holla at me.
Barbie.
Okay. What about Barbie?
Well, Barbie is destroying
I was about to say,
the box office.
Ass at the box office.
Busting records. And we haven't really talked about it. So we need to. Right now, that's in line with how the university logo look nowadays. Yeah, I agree. You're right, Heather. Barbie has 526.3 million domestically, and is at 1.18 billion globally.
Kudos.
For the year, it is second only to Mario globally.
That's solid.
Which did 1.358 billion globally. It could beat that. It is the second highest grossing Warner Brothers film of all time. Okay. Second only to Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Damn, that's saying something.
Well, it's Barbie. It touches generations upon generations, though. Like it's.
Yeah, but I really think with Oppenheimer being there and everyone's selling this joint as like that 2-part, like I think that helped. I definitely think that helped. But if you'd have told me like a few months before Barbie came out,
they wouldn't dress it up because it's Oppenheimer.
I mean, it was there was definitely folks going in like the black suits or whatever, and then coming out and switching to like the pink tee or whatever. They were definitely doing that. So that firsthand, it worked because they was coming.
I mean, look, let's be honest. The Venn diagram for Oppenheimer and Barbie doesn't. I mean, obviously it exists, right? There are clearly people who went to see both. There are clearly people who are interested in both. I am a person who is interested in both. I have seen neither one.
Mm-hmm. Not one.
And I'm okay.
I've seen Oppenheimer, but just didn't get a chance to go see Barbie.
But I'm probably going to see Barbie before this weekend is over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I mean, Barbie was just always important in my house. But
right, I know that.
When the first trailer came out, I was like, this looks so dumb. Like, what are they? And you do have to wonder, like, what are they really going to do? Right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I think that it is such a big surprise because there really isn't a story to the character of Barbie, although there have been like animated Barbie things for decades, right? But you think they're going to do one of those things.
Right.
So it really is a touchstone. But it kind of leads into, see, Barbie movie was an unexpected delight, which is, I think, is how a lot of people feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think when you take the icon that is Barbie, again, it is so generational, and Barbie's Life doing a phenomenal show. Just saying, it's phenomenal. Might be going a little far today, but I'm gonna let you have it if you feel that way, because that's up to you. Jokes, go see it for the John Cena cameo. Jokes, don't do that. Don't do that.
He gonna do it.
I knew you said that. Still didn't.
I think that Barbie has been in a place where it has been a generational thing for much longer than the other things that we have been looking at as generational.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Transformers, generational, yes. As many generations, absolutely not. Right? Also, and more importantly, I think something that is a touchstone and is generationally important for women is always going to make more money, is always going to do better. It just, the way that I feel like the way that men pass down the things that they like versus the way that women like is, no, I think they're very different. I think there's a very different kind of, like, I'm sure my father played with some kind of toys, right? But like, he didn't have action figures, so there was no, you know what I mean? Like, there's no Transformers for him to me. There's no He-Man for him to me. There is He-Man for him to me as a father buying toys for his son, right? But not the same way that, like, my grandmother collected Barbies and my mother collected Barbies and my sister collect. And we're not just talking about like has them, plays with them, but like collects them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of generational thing is, I think, very different than, again, there's a different generation that, like, Barbie has kind of always been Barbie, even though she evolves throughout those generations. Right. Barbie was for our grandparents and great-grandparents and our children. Where, like, jokes, I don't even like your Transformers. I don't even consider your Transformers my Transformers. So, like, from generation to generation, it's literally not the same thing. Like, they're not even made of the same material. You know, like, I call foul on your generation of Transformers because your joints ain't even made of die-cast metal. Like, they don't even hurt.
They made one. They made one, and then the rest of them, yeah.
You can murder somebody with our Transformers.
Listen,
I'm just saying that, like,
I'm an optimist. Throw that up against somebody's head. They gonna have a concussion.
It's not just the what you saw on TV or the video or the fact that they had comics or whatever. It's like the whole thing. I mean, maybe not even the fact that it's, but like, all right, can you imagine them trying to do a Hot Wheels movie?
They're gonna do it.
No, that is a thing. No, that is a thing. Yeah, that is a thing.
I mean, I know.
Say what?
Because it's not the same thing. Because I think that, like, a lot of those things are designed sort of, I think, when they put stuff like that in young boys' hands, is to try to make you interested in something else that is more adult. Like, for all the things that Barbie does, Barbie never stopped being a doll, right? But like, if you're into Hot Wheels, you can just be into cars. It's like a gateway in a very different kind of way, I feel like. And so I just think it's treated different. And I think that it's just, I think that it's super important to like not I think there are parts of what's happening right now with Barbie being in the theater and doing as well as it's doing that are being overlooked or overshadowed in some manner because we're still kind of swinging out of the end of the like pandemic movie thing. But it's also like in that place where people are going, well, yeah, I mean, people are tired of like superhero movies, which is the next thing we're going to talk about. Because I don't think that's actually true. I don't think that Barbie doing super well is a sign that people are tired of superhero movies. I do think that it is a sign that there are people who have not been getting content that they really want.
Yeah.
In theaters. And I think proof of that is that a movie that is in line on a normal basis to be Oscar considered, like an Oppenheimer, whether it is for writing, directing, music, or whatever, you're right. Barbie Mattel has been reinvented over and over, but never enough to feel like Transformers got reinvented and I hated it. Barbie, I don't feel like ever got reinvented in a way. I mean, I'm sure there were some people that were just like, why are there so many black Barbies? Or why are they like, I'm sure that there was some of that, but I don't know. I think that I feel like Barbie didn't necessarily get remade. I feel like Barbie got updated. And I feel like that was correct. Where I think that something like a Transformers, like Power Rangers, gets consistently updated. I think if you love Power Rangers, you're able to love Power Rangers through and through generationally because it don't really change. They do the exact same thing. It's the same thing.
Just we're going to change colors, we're going to change character type of things, but we're going to keep the same formula and just make it work.
Right. Cuddy says what Barbie did smart was like having a multiverse and multiple Barbie and Kens, just about every race represented, making it an event compared to when Black Panther dropped. I mean, but that, I don't know if that's what Barbie did that is smart so much as that's what Barbie is. And for as almost as long as I have been alive that I can recall, has been that in some manner. If they released a white version of the doll, there was almost always also a black version of the doll or something along those lines. So that like has kind of always been a thing for them. So, but it also is possible that seeing it happen on the big screen and seeing those cultures represented for the people who are there watching it is a touchstone that is very different from just having a doll in a box on a shelf. Seeing it, hearing it, quote unquote, feeling it, I think is culturally important. And I think it hit at the right time. I do think there's a possibility that if this was 4 years ago, the Barbie movie doesn't do anything. Not doesn't do anything, but doesn't do anything close to what it's doing now.
Right now.
Because it doesn't really have stiff competition. Like, Oppenheimer should be stiff competition. Mission Impossible should be stiff competition. Ninja Turtles should be stiff competition, but it's not really. Why is that? I think Oppenheimer has a very niche audience. I think it has a very specific audience of people who are interested in seeing that and hearing the historical importance or whatever of what that is. Oddly enough, Barbie has super historical importance and significance as well. They're not the same, but they're both important. Ninja Turtles doesn't have that, but it's a retelling for a new generation. It's not a bad movie, but I'm over it. You know what I'm saying? It's not for me. I should be the target, but I'm not really supposed to be the target audience. Does that mean that, like, on the strength of Barbie and some level of a women's empowerment within theaters or whatever, that, like, the Marvels is going to do insanely well? Not necessarily. But is it possible? Yes. Is there representation of a white woman, a black woman, and a Hindi woman? Like, you know what I'm saying? A Muslim woman on screen. Not Hindi. A Muslim woman on screen. Yes. Is that going to be culturally important? Yes. Are they all going to be powerful and have super? Yes. So could it be? Absolutely. But do you think, Sin, that there is real superhero movie fatigue?
No, I think we're just at a weird spot where DC has been dropping the ball consistency lately, but we know they got a whole reinventing thing coming with James Gunn. So we're looking forward to that at this point. Like, okay, let's get this thing really going now. And with Marvel, it's just we've come off the high of Endgame. We built it up over the last 10 years to get to that high. Now with people aging out of their roles, we gotta reset up these new people to come in to take it forward through this next 10 years. We're just still kind of like at the end of that phase. You know what I mean? So it's like getting to know new characters all over again. We're just starting from the bottom, going back to the top. So, and according to who you talk to, those movies are hit and miss. So I just think we're in that state right now. I don't think we're past it or over superhero movies yet. We have one franchise we're trying to rebuild and get right, and one we're just starting this whole storyline back from the beginning with new characters and bring it forward. I just think we're in a weird spot right now.
Jokes, what do you think?
I kind of agree with him. Like, I think after you've built up, once you get to Endgame, we're at the highest, and now we're kind of starting all over again, and we're kind of starting from that building from like, here's Iron Man and like, or here's whichever person, and we're gonna try to build this big end thing up to when it gets to again. And I think it's just folks are just anticipating, oh, this joint's coming out. We're about to get the biggest thing to happen here that's going to start setting us up. But it's like, it's still getting a slow burn. It's like we're still throwing little tidbits in here that honestly may not pay off until a movie 2 years from now.
Yeah.
To come out for it. And I think for us as ones that have read comics and know how deep and how different directions comics can go, I don't know if necessarily the average person that grew up only looking at like these heroes on a big screen can necessarily take that all. I don't maybe not necessarily take that all in, but no. It takes a lot of time for some of these things to. I mean, it took 10 years for the beginning part of the MCU to get to where it is. But I think DC obviously missing the ball a whole bunch of times. That hurts. Like, as much as people are like, oh yeah, Marvel versus DC. I mean, the two of these guys, like, look, these are the ones. And listen, when one drops the ball, it's like you're expecting the other one to do such great and awesome things, but if they only need to do something that's okay because this is just what's going to make the story go along until we need to get to that point, you don't necessarily have that person that's pushing the other one to necessarily go that next great length that they need to. Kind of comparison, WWE. Once WWE bought the competition and it was just them kind of just by themselves for things kind of, I guess you say, mellowed out maybe for a good while until, someone else came along and started making like, oh, maybe we need to spice things up a little bit or whatever. Kind of similar comparison.
I mean, there's a possibility, right, that like the general public, I mean, there is a part of me that wonders whether or not, like, generally speaking, right, if you're watching us now, if you're in the chat, you're somebody who's like bought in, right? Like you're all in. You kind of live this life. You're a comic book person or superhero person or geek or nerd or whatever, right? So you just kind of like, you're in. There is a part of me that wonders whether or not there are people in what we'll call the general public, let's just call them muggles, that like see a trailer for anything MCU related and roll their eyes and just go, another, another, right? It's a possibility. I don't know that I think it's, look, I guess you got to call it something, right? I don't think that there is superhero movie fatigue. What I think there is a lack of personality within the chosen heroes that actually matter to people. So I have said time and time again that I believe that if we're going to tell a great Batman story, it has to be a movie or a story that's about Bruce Wayne. Like the differences between them. That I love and follow Spider-Man as a character and story because so much of what Spider-Man is built on who Peter Parker is and or who Miles Morales is or whatever, right? And what's going on in their everyday lives and how the struggle between being one and the other is so difficult. People fell in love with Robert Downey Jr. As Tony Stank, right? So between Chris Evans and like Robert Downey Jr., like these people that had been there from the beginning, that 10 years that it took to get to Endgame, people fell in love with the characters, with the people behind the mask, so to speak. You didn't necessarily have to be like, I have friends who, as weird as it is to me, their favorite superhero is Iron Man. And we're like going crazy when they announced they're doing an Iron Man movie. And I'm like, Iron Man is so C-list, D-list, like who cares? Real talk, right? Because again, at the time, X-Men was the only thing that really mattered. And we knew that Marvel was pulling from their D tier to try to do something. But it worked. And it wasn't just him. It was Happy Hogan. It was Pepper Potts. It was like, are they going to get together? Are they not going to get together? What's going on with Pepper? What's happening? Like, people fell in love with them and those characters. And I do feel like there is less of that, right? People are not as bought in because people love Chadwick Boseman. They love T'Challa, what he stood for, what was happening. And they loved him within a movie and a half. It happened, right? That story is there and they're telling it, whatever. People grew up with Scarlet Witch and she's nowhere near as important to what's going on now as I feel like people maybe would want her to be. If you liked Hawkeye, Slim is gone. Like all of the characters that you really built up a true love for, they're out the window. And so because they're not there, even if the stakes are high, the stakes don't feel high because the characters you love aren't going to die because they're either dead already or you don't know where, like Captain America's old. So like, whatever, like he lived his life. He got to do what he wanted to, whatever.
He's
right?
old.
So,
he still should be out there being with a body for
high stakes never feel as important if the characters involved in those high stakes don't matter as much to you. And what they haven't done, there's so much going on and they're introducing so many people, so many characters that you don't even really get the opportunity to latch on, right? So like, even if you really like Moon Knight, which one of him do you actually like? And you got like 8 episodes or whatever and it was over. And that's it. And so like, what's going on? When we gonna see him again? Blah, blah, blah. Where originally it was like Iron Man came out. Iron Man 2 came out. All right, we're going to get Thor. We got 2 people. And like Coulson is this thread and you're in love with Coulson. That's my guy. Slim shows up everywhere, right?
Please,
he's this connective thread.
Please.
That's more important than even Nick Fury in the beginning, right? So like those things, like the only person who it seems like is really left that is from that original run technically is Bruce.
Yeah.
It's the Hulk.
Yeah.
And he's not the same Hulk that he was. So you don't really have Bruce, right? You don't have that and the version of him that they ended up with in Endgame, people didn't love.
Green.
And they never got back the version they wanted. They wanted that thug, I will destroy you Hulk. And Slim's not there.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't think it's superhero fatigue as much as it is there are these other factors, pandemic included.
Yeah.
Right? That are keeping those things from hitting. I feel like the only other character that has come in that people are like, yo, that's my joint is Yelena. Like new Black Widow.
I love her.
Is like the one right now. And it's like, so, and I think people like Shang-Chi, but it's been way too long. We should have gotten a Shang-Chi sequel way before now.
If anything, him showing up in somebody else's. If we didn't do a sequel, he should have been right alongside somebody else.
Yeah, it should have been somebody else's movie or something.
They're not doing that, right? The little threads, like it's exciting to me when I'm like, oh, snap, the 10 rings, that's from Iron Man 3, and that's in Ms. Marvel, and that's tied to Simu Liu doing his thing in Shang-Chi. Right. That don't matter to put the guy in the joint. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Let people see his face on the screen. Yeah.
So that joint made me care. That joint made me care about Iron Man 3 way more because y'all are already. And when they started putting those stories together, I was like, "Damn, y'all! Iron Man 3 just became like a 6 movie for me, like to an 8 because of all this."
Right. Everywhere feeling it all come together. It'll all come together when the next Avengers comes around. Even though it's for a while. No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. But I think it won't hit until then. When you finally see them all talking and conversing with one another and building up those relationships. If they don't start sowing those seeds beforehand, like putting somebody like Kate Bishop in somebody's show. You know what I mean?
Don't get it twisted. I like Scott Lang. But I mean the movies are good, they're really funny. Look, but like
he beat Kang, so
he beat a Kang.
He fought Kang?
The Kang.
He got whooped by Kang, but he won the battle at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was fluke.
He beat the dog ish.
Technically, Hank Pym beat Kang.
The Ant family beat Kang.
That's how the Ant family.
Okay.
But like, do you care in the end of it? Like, I just like when people are like, "Oh, snap, Secret Invasion." They got the DNA of Ghost. People are like, who is that? Who is Ghost? What does that mean?
Go back and watch.
Because you haven't had a chance to really get to know them and for them to matter. And so it's like it used to be that like the slate of movies was like, here comes Iron Man 3, here comes Thor 2, here comes, and it was like characters you knew and you were still getting along with those same characters and seeing those core people, right? Now it's like every joint that comes out is somebody new. Hey, listen, I think Loki 2 is going to be a problem. I think that joint is going to be really good. It just depends on what they do. Again, because I also think it's really confusing for people. I think that like multiverse and mixed up timelines and who is where and who's doing what and how that actually works is just confusing for a lot of people.
Yeah. Us, we'll dissect and explain that on 10 different ways to you, and it will still probably be gibberish. But it's like,
and the difference is that like when you know who the good guys are and you know who the bad guy is. Like Thanos is the dude we don't like. Everybody can get on board. So if you think about the number of characters they actually introduced in that run up to Endgame, when Falcon says on your left and the goosebumps pop, and then all the portals start opening and all them people start walking out, you really realize like we've been introduced to a lot of people, but within that, we cared about Okoye. Jeez. But we cared, you know what I'm saying? Like she showed up, we like, yeah, come get this work. Come have these spears, Thanos. You don't want this. He would have beat the bricks off of her. That's not the point. She came to the fight.
It's the fact that everybody showed up. Yeah.
And look, when they all got dusted in the movie before that, everybody was devastated because everybody lost a favorite. Everybody.
Black Panther just had his movie and he got dusted.
It got dusted.
Hurt the souls of oh my
straight Kool-Aid dust.
Her like falling, being like, my king, bro. Listen,
look,
that feeling doesn't exist in these movies and in these movies anymore. It doesn't exist in these TV shows anymore. That's what's missing, right?
Iron Man is Spider-Man and Iron Man when he got dusted. Oh my gosh, that was devastating.
I don't want to go. Hey, stop it, bro.
Hey, Tom, what are you doing to us, Tom? Stop it.
I was pulling Oscar strings. He was
like,
he was.
I'm going to get an Oscar for one scene.
Hey, no, 100% right. In Endgame, when they rescue Tony from space, and my man comes down with the IVs and all that, gets in Cat's face and says, liar. Hey, dog, everybody felt that joint. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Zayna said, I really think my eyes never went back down to a normal size from the swelling those seasons. I mean, that's probably true. Because everybody lost somebody that mattered to them. And you like, how they going? What we going? And the beginning of the next movie is so dismal.
Oh my gosh. That scene with Hawkeye and his family.
Bro,
how they started?
Listen.
What?
When me and Tatiana
look, the Lucy's dog right here now, just thinking about that.
The moment Hawkeye showed up on screen, I was like, this ain't right. I looked at her and I was like, no.
Hey, bro, y'all about to have me start a marathon run right now just to go back through them joints.
I thought at least one of them was gonna disappear. I didn't think my man gonna lose the whole family.
Everybody, bro. And my man just went Ronin. And I'm with it.
I knew that was happening. Soon the first one disappeared, I was like, they all going? Oh my gosh.
Even with whatever you feel like the weight of a Kang could be and the threat of like the multiverse and the universe, if Kang showed up and just started offing people, like people would just be like, I mean, I didn't even really know Echo. And people would be like, I mean,
hey, dog, like I said, Kang got beat by the Ant family. I got no respect for him right now.
Which is cool, but I'm just saying, like, they have shown how powerful and like what is to come, right? From a Kang. Cool. But it doesn't really matter if the characters that might happen to,
if you don't have
you don't care about
that connection.
People don't have an emotional attachment to these new quote unquote Avengers as they're shaping up to be just yet. So until people get those connections with those characters, the weight of it's not going to matter.
And
so like this movie, The Marvels, is really like the first movie where you're getting threads truly pulled into one film. And it wasn't supposed to be like that at first. But if the fact that you have Miss Marvel being pulled from a TV show, right? That you have Tiana Paris' character being pulled from WandaVision, right? And then you have Captain Marvel, who, I mean, again, for all intents and purposes, even if you really like Captain Marvel, she's so powerful, you can't feel sorry for her if something's going on because you don't, like, there's no emotional connection to Captain Marvel.
No.
Is anybody sad about what happened to her? Is anybody like, oh man, she lost her whole family? Like, there's no like emotional connection to like, oh, she ended up in space and doesn't know where she's.
They could have got that emotional connection is if they'd let her body Thanos in that moment. That would have been the connection for a lot of people.
I mean, look, I think they saw that she was the threat, but I think the emotional connection to Wanda made it so much more important that she showed up to be that threat.
Yeah.
But you also had to have Cap lift the hammer.
Oh, so many moments in that last fight.
Avengers Assemble and the lifting of the hammer.
Oh,
dog, my theater.
Classic.
On your left, Avengers Assemble.
Dog.
Come on, dog.
Some of the best moments in cinema history, dog. Just
pretty. So the truth is, how do you build to that and make it even close to being that important? Kate Marvel need to catch a fade for all the drama she missed out on NK. I mean, she missed a lot of it.
Why was she up there?
That was Wanda's.
That was
Wanda. When Captain Marvel showed up, she definitely was like flying through ships. Like, let me just shut this down. I don't,
Thanos cracked the working time machine at Buzz. He was like, "Oh, I got to figure something out."
My man was
She's
like,
about to kill me.
When my man said, "Rain down fire," and it was like, "But our soldiers are on the field." He was like, "I don't give a shit." No, listen. If Thanos would have hit the high pitched voice in that moment, rain down fire. I don't rain. He was about to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we should have an emotional connection to like Gamora, but she's not the same Gamora.
Right? She's not.
She don't act the same. We don't care, so we don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not there.
And that's what I was about to say earlier. It's like the whole multiverse and the timeline thing. When you know now, you can technically just go pluck. It may not be necessarily the same one, but you can go pluck somebody and necessarily move them over. It's kind of like, well, A, B, and C died, but I guess we could just go grab another variant or version of them from someplace else and bring them right back over here. Maybe. It's not the same person per se, but
I mean, again, it's just, I think that's the problem, right? And I think DC has that exact same problem. I think that DC movies have not been able to create an emotional connection with any of the characters they have. There is no reason for you to feel sad for Bruce Wayne. Like, you lost your parents. It was tragic. You got so much money, dog. You out here beating people up and don't have no business, bro. You out here breaking the law every day, dog, and getting away with it. Ain't nobody worried about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody worried about you. And you're doing a terrible job. Gotham is still garbage.
Bruh,
still
Joker. I know you don't have to look. Listen, Joker should have been dead a long time ago.
I'm just saying, like,
it took
Wonder Woman is like
to do it.
It's difficult to build an emotional connection to Wonder Woman when she's just so powerful. Like what? Like there is no version of Wonder Woman within the DC EU that we got where she has sustained like significant loss. Like technically. Like in Justice League, for Slim to show up, Steppenwolf to show up and like body all of the Amazons, we don't know none of them. We don't know them. Whatever, dog.
That was almost something that you saved for later. Like that type of bodying that he came in and did, that's like a down the road type of.
Yeah, I mean, you've been here for 100 years. It's 1984. You working in a museum. You ain't been saving nobody or doing nothing. Like what? You ain't fall. Like our emotional connection to her is supposed to be Steve Trevor.
No.
Get out of here, dog.
No.
You know, like, you know what I'm saying? So like. And I will give Superman that, like, the loss of Pa Kent was kind of rough. You know what I'm saying? Because that moment really does humanize him in a way where it's like, it was very Spider-Man. It was like very Gwen Stacy. Can you save all the kids on the bus or can you save her? You got to save all the kids on the bus or you got to save Pa Kent. And my man's like, I just got to go. You got to let me go. Right?
Pop put that hand up. It was like,
right. It's a hurtful, hard moment, and it's the closest thing we get. Outside of that, they try to make it emotional with them Bama screaming Martha to each other. Why do you know that name? Hey, dog, you have any idea how common the name Martha is?
Right. Because honestly, I paid no attention to that within the comments after all these years that they both had mothers with the same name until this movie happened. It was just
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why, jokes. Because it doesn't matter. That's why. Because who cares? It doesn't. It's not significant.
Why do you know that name?
Doesn't know anything for you. So, like, you know, I don't have there's no like, oh man, Lois Lane's in trouble. What do we do? Like, even in the old Superman joints, right, with Christopher Reeve, as fluke as them joints are, like, Slim cannot fly backwards around the earth and rewind time, right? But my man was so caught up, I'm gonna try. Like, my man was just like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fly circles around this joint and try to run it back. You kidding me? All right. There's no emotional connection. So, like, I think part of the reason why the first Shazam was good was because there was an emotional connection,
Mhm.
right? To like
Agreed.
him being an orphan, finding a family, striving to be that family, and then struggling to be this hero.
Yeah.
That wasn't as present in the second one, right?
Mhm.
There was a struggle there, but it wasn't as present. So there's no emotional connection. So you don't have it. And I think that's what they're missing. And until they get that part of it right, when we read comic books, we know so much of the backstory that like the emotional connection can be there in a story they just presented to us, because if it's a new comic and it's about Rogue, we know Rogue's story already.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to tell it to us, you don't have to prove it to us, you don't have to, whatever. We know what it is. Cool, we're in there, right? But the presentation that has existed with what they've done, so like for real, I'm not going to tell you Peacemaker was a great show. What I will tell you, though, is that where they succeeded was humanizing the character enough, even though he's a douche, humanizing him enough for you to be like, you kind of feel for him. You know what I'm saying? And like, all right, his pops is definitely the worst. You know what I'm saying? Like so they managed to humanize him in a way that you're like, you still kind of, you want to see him succeed. That matters. So I don't know that we necessarily got that with Moon Knight. I enjoyed the show. I don't think we established an emotional connection with him that's like, oh man, I just really want him to be okay. You know what I'm saying? Like there is no, I mean, I think that there's a discussion to be had about what state he's in and what state of mind he's in. But it's not the same as like Captain America waking up 70 years later and running out into Times Square and being like, what is going on?
What is going on?
And then you're just like, yo, like all his friends are dead. Everybody he knew is gone. And you're in this place with him where you feel like what's going on with him matters. And it becomes sidebar chatter that like, as they're going to do a mission, Winter Soldier, Black Widow's like, what about the cute, what's the name that? Nah, with the lip thing, I'm not ready for that. You know what I mean? Or whatever, like with the piercing thing, like I'm not ready. She's cute, I'm not ready for that, right? Like those discussions of just trying to get him back to being acclimated to just being a person in our time and place, you immediately feel. You immediately understand, right? And it is threaded throughout the entire film, even just in, oh, we have to hide, let's sneak into the mall. He don't go to the mall. He don't know what to do. She's like, hug me, kiss me, right? And then they're riding and it's like, that's not the first kiss I've had in 90 years. Don't do that. So, humanizing him, right? Like, dang, my man really jive, like been on ice. And like, how do you date if you're Captain America and you just got back and like, what do? You know what I'm saying? So you on your left with somebody like Sam. I'm just out here running, staying in shape or whatever. You build this friendship with somebody and you immediately build a bond. It's the floors, right? Like you can't sleep, like your bed's too soft. You're used to sleeping on like a rock, right? And you immediately build a connection that exists. That doesn't exist anymore. So we get it. It's gonna be a little rough. And I'm gonna keep enjoying these joints anyway.
Yep.
Facts.
But I think we need some new storytellers involved in order to get it right. Jokes.
Yo.
You have a job to do.
Boom.
While you're doing that, I want to make something very clear to everybody who's hanging out with us right now. Next week, we get 2 episodes of Ahsoka, and let me tell you something. I'm so ready. Star Wars put out a 7.5 minute video on YouTube like yesterday for Ahsoka that is about masters and apprentices. And let me tell you something about watching that joint. Watching Dave Filoni talk about the creation of Ahsoka, getting it to the point where it's here on the big screen, him going through that stuff with George Lucas, that she wasn't originally going to be Anakin's Padawan. It's an enthralling 7 minutes. And if it wasn't 7 minutes long, we would have watched it. We're not. But I implore you, go watch that joint. I'm so amped for these first 2 episodes. to see Ahsoka and Sabine, to have Ahsoka with an apprentice training a new Jedi, for me to be the person who's been telling y'all for like 4 years, like Jedis are boring, but if they do this right, they could introduce new Jedis and they can make it cool again. And like, yo, ooh, this joint needs to hit.
This could be it.
5 weeks, y'all. So get ready for some spoiler, boys. Jokes, thanks for putting the Beacons link up for anybody who came to the show late. If you haven't already done it, please jump on that Beacons link. Throw us some likes. We did cross the 900 subscriber mark on YouTube. Woo-hoo! So thank y'all.
Yes.
It's been a wonderful thing. As you can see, Sin is pulling up on the mic like he's about to drop bars, but really, he has a job to do. So if you would.
Yes, sir. So let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, and Ellis Mbe. Thank you very, very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
Bars.
Baltimore Comic-Con is coming up. We's gonna be there. September 8th, 9th, 10th.
That's it.
I believe. So that's coming up. A few other things brewing in the meantime. We are working on some things, y'all. We got some plans behind the scenes. Zane, I need to talk to you about those plans. That's right, Doctor Who. Hit the like button. That really helps. I don't know if y'all realize how much that helps. But if you're watching wherever you are, or even if you just go to the video and hit the like button, like, you know, we're all doing stuff with the algorithm, man. We're all in bed with the algorithm. It's shady, but we got to do it. You know what I mean? So if y'all wouldn't mind jumping in bed with the algorithm for us for a moment and just at least hitting the like button, you know what I'm saying? Poke that button, please. Relax. Sin, what's going on with Thriller Park?
We're at the finale of Shiki this week. So we're doing the last 4 episodes to finish that out. And then after that, next week, there will be no Thriller Park because the One Piece live action drops. So we're going to be watching that and reacting to that instead that week. So we're all on board for that.
I can be mad at that.
Nah.
Let me let's just walk it back. Are we doing a spoiler, boys?
I believe we should.
I think we should.
I absolutely think we should.
I think we should. I mean, listen, y'all know I don't One Piece, but I jump in for the live. I mean, what's up?
No, I think it will be interesting just you not seeing One Piece or watching it, not really knowing anything about it, but watching it through the lens of the live action version of it. Could be an interesting.
Yeah. See, if I'm like, oh, nah, this joint fire. When you're like, this joint is terrible. And I'm like, nah.
I'm not gonna lie. First trailer, y'all might have saw my reaction. Like I was on the fence. Like I know Oda's involved. Like that's the one thing that's keeping me together with this. But I will not lie. When I saw the second trailer, I had the goosies when I was going through the scenes. It was like they're doing this scene, they're doing this scene. That's such and such. That's such and such. Like all right, Oda.
Oda made sure he was like, there's some certain specific things that have to go in. They got to be done right.
Oda said straight up, if he didn't want to end the show, it did not go in the show whatsoever. So I'm like, all right, Oda, my man, perfect. I'll trust what you're doing.
How it should be. Joe, what's going on with wrestling, man?
Next big thing we got AEW All In.
It's next Thursday, Doc.
It's coming up in the end of the month. That is the 27th. It's a Sunday. So we're trying to iron out the day for us to do some predictions for All In. Big show, Wembley Stadium. They are doing very good. Apparently now they have surpassed 80,000 and they are on the road to possibly selling this joint out if they keep doing this the way it is. But it's now surpassed WWE SummerSlam, I forget the pay-per-view that they did in Wembley. It surpassed.
I'm pretty sure it was SummerSlam, if I remember correctly.
And they only have one more thing to pass, and that would be the WrestleMania 32, if I remember right. For an in-stadium appearance, they could possibly surpass that. But All In is going to be our next stop.
All right. I'm with it. Loading Snacks Movie Club, the movie of the month is Black Dynamite. We are doing a watch-along on the 26th. Have not nailed down the time yet. We will, and we'll let you know. We are doing the discussion on Monday the 28th. So that evening.
26 Friday.
Again, we'll make sure we get you dates, but we are. It's about to be. Ooh boy. It's about to be who boy. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Andrew says, hope y'all have a great week. Hope to see y'all soon. I'll definitely be at Ocean City Comic Con. Hey, listen, that is in the bag. We are going to be there. What we're doing there, not decided yet, but I am positive that I am going to get a message from the runners of the show, like, hey, what are y'all doing this year?
Right.
And he does it, I will say, this is what we're doing. I have something that I'm working on that might be the thing that we're doing. God, I think this might really be something. So we'll see. Right now, all I can do is tease you. Jokes, tell the people what I need them to know.
Remember, y'all, just because you have a well thought out plan doesn't make it a good idea.
With that, we're out. Toodles and Loos. Push a button.
Loading snacks.